He knows none of them other heavyweights can beat him. Yeah. He'll smash Usyk to pieces.
For the first time ever, we have not one, not two, but three of Tyson Fury's close family members in one interview at this very important time in Tyson Fury's career.
There is a day when Tyson will have to retire, and it's got to be in the next 3-4 years.
You know, boxing is a heavy drug. Once you get that itch for boxing, you can't let it go.
He's got unfinished business. And I said, if you get used to silk pyjamas, they'll bring you down in the end.
Of course, we've got the big upcoming fight, but the three Furies revealed the truth about how long Tyson Fury has left in boxing. In the documentary, obviously, you were quite open that you wanted him to stay retired. Do you think you would ever keep continuing to encourage him to retire?
Yeah, 100%, because I just see that Tyson is getting older. He's 35, and it's not a sport for it's not a sport for older men. So there is a day when Tyson will have to retire, and it's got to be in the next 3-4 years maximum. So he has to hang up, and he's got to come home and just be at home on a permanent basis. But I don't know what Tyson will do to fulfill that.
The thought of him retiring, from his perspective, does that excite you or scare you?
For Tyson to retire would be good for me and the kids. I think it would be bad for him, I do. And I think until he finds something to fulfill his, you know, that time and that energy that he puts into it, and I don't think there will be anything out there for him to do. To fill
really?
that. No, I don't think anything will ever fill that. But I think he has to come to the realisation that you can't box forever, and you have to find something, whether it's one thing or numerous things, to put the effort into. And it'll never feel the same. It'll never be, how can you match going into Wembley Arena with 90,000 people cheering your name? You can never replicate that in any situation. So he has to understand that it's not possible, and then find something just to enjoy, even if it's on a smaller level.
Yeah, we just watched the Beckham documentary, and some of the big footballers like Eric Cantona said that the adrenaline of those huge crowds is an addiction. And it was really hard to come back to normal life, because it's like you're an addict coming off a drug. Can you see that in Tyson?
Yeah, 1,000,000%. I could believe that, and I can see that in sort of how, not in day-to-day life, but how Tyson lights up on fight night. You know, he doesn't get 1 inch of nerves, not the slightest. He's never ever nervous. You see boxers walk to the ring, they look like deer in headlights. Tyson is enjoying and taking in every moment of it. And everybody there's no nerves, it's just pure enjoyment. He loves boxing. He loves what he does. And that is the truth of it.
What would you do if all 7 of your kids wanted to be professional boxers?
I'd cry.
I mean, maybe not your little one yet, but...
Yeah, I would. I just dread the thought of my kids being boxers. I know when Venezuela, she's the oldest girl, when she was a little girl, she used to, you know, play boxing with her dad and punch his hands, and he used to say, she'll be the next Layla Ali. And then she got punched in the nose one day, and she said, I don't want to punch. And she didn't like it no more. That was the end of it. So then now I've got 4 boys, and they, I don't think the girls will do it, because I know the little one, again, she's real girly. So I think if the boys was going to do it, I think it'd be horrible to watch, because I've watched Tyson box all these years, and it's not nice. But I remember his little brother, who was the baby brother of the family, Huey, he boxed. And when Huey was boxing, I'd seen him grow up from being 8 or 9 year old, and it was even worse to watch him, because he was the young brother, he was the kid, so he was like my baby brother, and I'd watched him grow up, and I was watching him box, and it was like watching a kid, you know, get hit, and it wasn't nice then. So if it was my kids, it'd be terrible, and I'd be the loudest mother at ringside, screaming and shouting, and there'd be some bad abuse going to some little children fighting them. So yeah, I don't like the thought of them boxing, but they might do, they might not.
Yeah. And would you veto it, or would you ultimately let them do what they wanted to do?
I'd only let them do what they wanted to do. It's down to them. If they want to do it, then they can. We've said we'll never push them into doing it. I do think there's great discipline in the boxing gym. So even if they've never done it professional, just to learn and train and get into that mindset is really good for the youths of today. I do think it's beneficial to them. So I'd like them maybe to do it for a health side of things, but to actually compete, I wouldn't push them to it.
John Fury.
Yes.
Like, what's he really like? Because he's a scary man who's had a lot of fights with his bare fists. But he's also, I mean, I've had the pleasure of interviewing him twice. He's very emotional. I think he's some compassion there. What is he really like? He
is as loud and boisterous and scary in real life, but underneath it, he's just a soft man. He's not like, he looks it, he sounds it, like he walks in and, can I have a cup of tea? And you go, but the truth is, he's just a good guy. He's a father, he's a grandfather. He'll come in, play with the kids, you know, he'll have a visit, he'll chat with the children. Yeah, he is, he ain't really what you see, because when you see him, you probably see him in like an interview and he's all irate and that's fight mode. And, you know, all of the Furies, they all have fight mode. And fight mode is serious and it's intense and it's loud and it's aggressive. And then obviously you've got them at home, and it's like Tyson at home, he's a gentle giant.
So he's never flipped a table at home?
Never, no. He's barely raised his voice at home. I've actually never heard him raise his voice at home.
Wow.
Yeah, I've never heard Big John shouting or... He's actually quite calm when you think about it. He'd be the one to sort of say, now son, be sensible. There, you know, he is more calm, and actually that's quite strange when I think about it. Yeah, I've been married 15 years, been together for 18 years, and I've never heard him raise his voice once.
Wow. But he's quite happy to flip a table in front of a crowd.
As I say, I think that's fight mode. I think that's the emotions is high. I think they're all tense. I've seen a few of these videos. They're quite crazy. Quite crazy. Yeah, I've seen them. They are intense, but I think that's a different situation. That's a different person to, you know, the granddad that comes round seeing the kids.
Do you have any regrets?
No.
None at all?
No, I don't think you can regret. I think I'm very happy with where I am in my life now. I've been very happy most of my life, and yeah, I don't have regrets, because I think everything that's happened has brought us here.
And as you've got, you know, more in the public eye, have you felt the responsibility to be a good role model? Do you think about that, or do you just be yourself?
I know I don't need to think about being a good person, because I'm one. You know, the only time you'll ever see me lose your temper is if I've been insulted. That's the only time you'll ever see me lose my rag, or if somebody's saying something inappropriate, you know, which I don't think is right, you know, and it's just the way it is, isn't it? So I haven't got to try to be a good boy. No. I'm one. I'm a father of 6 children. You know, I'm a businessman. I've got my own things apart from boxing. I've worked all my life. I'm not a man who leeches off his sons. Nothing. Not $10 off Tyson, not $10 off Tommy. Everything I do for these boys is free. Because I'm not interested in money. It don't float my boat. It's caused that many problems in my life. Right. You know, I don't need money. I don't like money. As long as I've got enough to feed myself with and pay me bills, I'm happy. There's my old car in the car park, 32-year-old, an old red Mercedes. Yeah. Gets me from A to B. People laugh at me driving it. But, you know, keep laughing. That's John Fury. I'm not interested. No. You know.
What's happened with money in the past then, with relationships?
Well, it just changes people, doesn't it? Right. When you've gone from having basically an hand-to-mouth existence, and all of a sudden you've got money in abundance, people change. They think they're somebody else. Now, if I was a gentleman, I'd have been in relation to high society people. I'm a gypsy, uneducated, dyslexic gypsy. And I try to use my manners as best as I can, what my mother and father taught me to do. You know, my mother and father used to say you can be respectful and you can be decent to other people. It doesn't take a brain surgeon to do that. And that's how I've lived my life. You know, and I don't need to try to do anything, me, because I'm a nice, easygoing person. It's like we were sparring here yesterday. I seen the kid take a good shot. I stopped the spar. Hold on, I said, mate, give him a minute. I said, he ain't getting paid for this. He's helping you. Yeah. So right, give him a minute. That's what kind of a person I am. You know what the kid done? Pat him on the back as he walked past me. He said, thanks for that. Yeah. Or any other gyms, I don't want to see him on the floor. because it makes their man look good.
Yeah.
I said to my son, whoa, stop, recover, well go when you're ready.
Yeah.
That's a decent person. And that's what I am.
Yeah.
You know, I'm a decent person. I think people know that. But if you want to try and make a fool out of me or disrespect me, you're going to see the other side of me, like you would.
Yeah.
If somebody tried to disrespect what you was doing and your character and your job and your life, you are not a mental health sufferer, are you? You're not, are you?
No, my dad is, so
Well,
I've experienced
but
it.
how would you feel if somebody was trying to disrespect you and you knew it?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not raised like you, so it might not end in a fight.
You'd be disappointed, wouldn't you, in that
yeah,
person?
Yeah, I would, and I
yeah.
probably would disassociate with that person, and might even want to tell other people bad things about that person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The only thing people can say about me who's had run-ins with me in the life is saying, listen, treat him right,
Yeah.
man's sound. Try and be a dickhead round him, and he'll hit you
Yeah.
in a split second, and I will. You know, I don't care how old I am, or how old I'm not. You upset me, you do it to me, because I'm going to do it to you.
Yeah.
And if you get the better of me, good luck to you,
Yeah.
because I'm going to definitely try and get the better of you.
So you're basically saying you will treat people how they treat
Yes.
you. And the nicer they are to you, the nicer
Nicer
you...
I'm back,
Yeah.
more nicer.
Yeah.
Like these people, and you can ask these people in this hotel. You know, they've even said to me, oh, well, off the internet you seem totally different. You know, you're such a gentle kind of a fella. You know, you treat people right. You know, you open doors so people let people walk past you first and all that. It's called being a human being, isn't it? You know, and I had a good teacher, my mother and father were very good teachers.
Yeah.
You know, my dad couldn't stand an ignorant, bold child. That's what he used to say.
Yeah.
A bold child off him got a good hiding. And if we stepped on a line, you got it round the head and a kick up the backside.
Yeah.
Done. Then you learn. You can talk to a child all you want. Unless he feels the wrath of you, he ain't going to listen properly. Especially people like our character, me and my family, when we was kids. We had to have the slap up the ear hole. We had to have the kick up the backside.
Yeah.
We had to be shouted at. We used to have the stick, get the belt. He used to get a swishy stick off the edge of me. I'd whoop. That was when you was naughty.
Do you think the world's gone a bit soft now?
Too soft.
Do you? Because,
Yeah.
you know, that's really frowned upon in parenting.
Well, there's no
You can't do
deterrent,
any
is
of
there?
that.
What deterrent has a child got?
Yeah.
You can get away with anything.
Yeah.
You know, when my mother and father said no, they meant no. No good asking them twice. I never said, oh, why? Why can't I have it? Because if you said that, you was met with a slap up your ear hole. And my dad said, you and your brothers will appreciate how I've treated you when you're men, because you'll be able to stand alone and go through anything. And you know what? He was right. And I thank my father every day for them kicks up the backside, the slaps from the back of the neck, the belt, the stick. Thank you, Father. You made me some man.
Yeah.
And that's a nice thing to say about your parents.
Yeah, it is, and it's hard for parents because
It is.
your kids don't understand till they're 25.
Too late then.
Yeah.
They're moulded out and then getting away with what they want, saying what they want, doing as they want.
Yeah.
If I say to my kids when they're small, you ain't going nowhere, they ain't going. And they know not to even ask again. They know not to move because they know they feel the other side of me.
Yeah.
And that's how I was with them. And look at them today, all fine, strong, healthy men looking after the families, going to work every day, supporting the families. And they do it at will. They do it because it's normal to them, it's the norm. They're not worried about, oh, can I look after my family? Can I do this? Can I do that? Because I've said to them, there's a lot of work in the world, go and find some. And that's what they do. And I'm a proud man of them. So people can look at me and say, oh, he's this, he's that. And all my sons are relative like machines. They can all handle themselves. They're all rough, tough cookies. People walk around them instead of to them. Because they've got the aura about them. As that they will not be messed around. But nice, gentle people. But they've got the aura about them where, wouldn't like to mess with him.
Yeah.
And that's how I've moulded them. Yeah.
And this Netflix documentary, it was huge.
Yeah.
It was huge. Apparently it's the biggest show on Netflix.
Get
Smashed
away.
all the numbers. Has that changed anything for you?
Not really, but all I can say is there was great people put it together.
Yeah.
You know.
So you enjoyed it, did you?
It was
You
a
liked
great
doing it?
team. Loved doing
Yeah.
it. Well, it was a new thing for me. You know, and I didn't even think they'd want me in it. But you know, there was Demi, Laura, Tina, all the boys. You know, they followed us around with this, that, and the other cameras, and we had a good rapport with them.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed every second of that program with them. I enjoyed the people, you know, and it wasn't like work. It was so enjoyable. I used to look forward to them coming with the cameras. I used to love it. When they used to come and see me in the field with my wagon, my horse and my dog, they'd come and had a smile on my face, and they used to make me laugh.
Was that a little place you'd go to relax, or do you actually live there?
No, I just relax and go from place to place in the summer months, sometimes in the winter as well.
Yeah.
But when I used to see them, I used to get a light in my eye with it. I used to say, you know what, this is great. Not because of the exposure, not because of wanting to be somebody. To interact the way we interacted with the cast and the crew, and this, you get to know people, don't you? And you know, when it was over, I sort of felt sad, you know.
Right.
Because I'm thinking, oh, I'm probably never going to see these good people again. You know, but that's not the case, because they do phone me regular and keep me, they told me everything was a success. You know, it wasn't just, for me, a TV series. It was getting to know people from other walks of life, what I could only dream about.
Yeah.
You know, TV makers, filmmakers. Where would John Fury get to enjoy something like that at the ripe old age of 58?
Yeah.
You know, so I enjoyed every minute of it. I love the cast, love the people. You know, if they ever want to do another, I'm up for it.
Yeah.
And Tyson is, because you know what, you get to like people as well, don't you?
Yeah.
And not one time did those people ever infringe in our privacy. Not one time.
Well,
There's no inappropriate questions, no inappropriate TV. It was done professionally. And what I said to them, if you don't want to film me as I am at the beginning, don't bother, because you're filming me as I live my life. As it happens, you know, because I can't act because I couldn't act.
Yeah.
Wouldn't know how. So I said, if you want me to act, don't even have me in it, because I'll make a fool of myself. If you want to film me on a date how I will live my life, how I am with my family, crack on.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
Right.
And I can only commend them for it. Love the people, love the programme, and I'm honoured to have been a part of it.
And has fame, do you ever think about it? Has it changed you in any way, or does it make your life better or worse?
I'm not famous, so am I?
You are?
I'm not famous. I've done nothing to be. I'm only the father of some people what's done well in their life. You know, Tyson's a famous man because he's got a reason to be famous. Heavyweight champion of the world, biggest sports person. And Tommy, they've done a good job on Love Island, him and Molly May.
Yeah.
They've earned the right to be famous because I call people what's done something in life deservingly, they're famous.
Yeah.
But me, I've just been famous for being myself. People's tuned into me because probably I'm a bit different. They don't know what's coming. They think, oh, John Fury's coming. Oh, we're going to see some fun. If that's what you call fame, well, yeah.
Well, I mean, it is nowadays. Yeah, I think you're being a bit falsely humble because obviously you've raised some really good kids.
I've raised some good kids. They've been
Yeah.
a good father. They've had good mothers. You know, we've all worked hard hand in hand to do what we can do with them. You know, and away from everything else and all the dust settles, I'm a family man who wants the best for his family. You know, but like I say, they've done stuff to be famous and I've not.
Yeah.
For years, people have been asking me where I buy my watches. Many of you may know I'm a watch collector, I'm a watch investor, and those as an asset class have done me very well in the last 15 years. I have never shared where I source my watches from or my watch dealer until now. My watch dealer used to be a professional footballer for Manchester United, and he formed a watch brand called Broadwalk, and he sources the higher end brands like Rolex, Audemars Piguet, Patek Philippe and Richard Mille. I trust him, I've used him for many years, and recently we've done a partnership. Hence I'm inviting you, if you want to start investing in watches and protect your money from the banks and inflation, to check out Broadwalk. That's BROADWALK. And the website is broadwalkgroup.com. The email is sales@broadwalkgroup.com. And please don't share this, but his number is 07496 878 153. Obviously, only message him if you're serious about buying and investing in the higher end watches. People have been asking me for years, and for the first time ever, you can get access to my watch dealer.
Do you think Tyson will ever fight AJ? That seems to be the fight that should have happened for the British public as a fan, and hasn't. And is that ship sailed now?
Yeah, it's a good question,
I
Rob.
mean, is AJ even good enough anymore? Do you think he wants to get in the ring there?
I think in AJ's case, looking at his last performances, he's on a build-up mission for a big payday, isn't he? You know, they're going to try and match him and tread where the grass is low, get fights he can win.
Right.
But when
Well,
I look
mean,
at...
him and Tyson would be a big payday for them.
Is it though? From what I'm seeing now, it'd be a relatively a mismatch.
Really? Yeah.
And I mean no ill feeling to AJ at all.
No.
He's been a great champion. Again, he's inspired me. I've had a lot of great pleasure watching him fight. He's not the same kid anymore.
No.
AJ is not the fighter he was 3 years. Whatever happened when Andy Ruiz stopped him, it all went wrong from there on. He's never recovered. Usyk for me ain't worth a carrot.
No.
He's a cruiserweight. He showed you what happened the other day. You know, he needed 20 minutes to recover.
Yeah.
And only for being the star of the show and groomed for bigger things, it could well have been a new champion. But them, again, chuck them all in the bag, it's who you like. But Tyson's levels and leagues above them.
Right.
But will he ever fight him? I don't think so.
No.
I think that boat sailed and gone. Because AJ's mindset's not where it needs to be for Tyson. He needs a big win. The only way that fight could happen, and it would happen, if AJ was to beat Deontay Wilder.
Right.
Then Tyson would say, oh yeah. He'd look at him. But at the minute, Tyson isn't even considering him as a threat to nothing.
Do you think there's a chance AJ beats Wilder or no chance?
Unfortunately not, no.
No.
You know, Wilder for me, he's not my most favourite man in the world. He's a terrible sportsman. He's like a big kid. You know, you've seen his attitude when he loses. You know, but can the man punch? Yes, he can. Has he got a pair of nuts? Yes, he has. You know, and you cannot hang your chin out and let Wilder hit it because he'll put you to sleep forever.
Yeah.
There's only the Gypsy King, Tyson Fury, can take Wilder power. No one else can take it. It's been proven.
Yeah.
Look at Alenius. Dead as a nit in about 30 seconds, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A little 6-inch punch, dead as a nit. He had a good old do with AJ till AJ caught him. You know, on a week's notice. So when you look at the pros and cons of it all, he had so little notice. Rob Alenius, he still went 7 rounds, didn't he?
Yeah.
So how can you compare him to a man what would knock your brains out with either hand?
Yeah.
And he's not the most elusive person, AJ, is he? He's not a lateral mover. No. His head don't go anywhere. I think he'd just be suicide for him.
Right.
But if he was to get the win over Wilder, well...
Do you think Tyson might then...
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The flame's reignited, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he's got to do something big.
Yeah.
It's no good beating these bums and expecting to get a fight with him, because Tyson ain't up for it. He's looking at bigger challenges. He's looking at John Bones Jones and all this job for a bit of excitement, you know what I'm saying? He knows none of them other heavyweights can beat him. Yeah. He'll smash Usyk to pieces. Whenever he fights Usyk, if ever he does, believe me, it won't even be a contest. No. I know people are getting on Usyk's back saying he's the man, he can do this. Let me tell you, he can't. He can't. No. A relatively, look what a novice did the other day with him. A 24-year-old novice. Little men can't mess with big men. No. Especially a good big man. And a good big man beats a good little man. And Usyk's a very, very excellent good little man. Yeah. You can't mess with Tyson. No. No. Too much artillery, too much skill, too much brains, too much strength. And when he hates you, there's no get-offs with him. Which, like I say, if I'd have been looking after Daniel Dubois and whatever, he'd have been the heavyweight champion of the world. Because I would have stopped that fight there and then. I'd have said, hang on, no, we've won. We've won on a knockout. We can't knock him out twice. I'd have ended the fight there and then. Right. But they're rookies, aren't they? They're rookies at their own game. Yeah. They think they're clever, but they're not clever. No. I'd have said, right, it's over. We've won. I'd have massive protest. We'd have all invaded the ring. We'd have gone mental. There'd have been no more action. There'd been no more action, and if they'd have been sharper, they'd have saved Dubois embarrassment later on. Because people saying he's quit, he's done this, he's done that, he's a quitter. He'd have been saved all that. Yeah. And people would have thought, even if he didn't get the result, didn't get it overturned, he'd always been remembered for dropping Usyk heavily. Whatever they wanted to call it, whatever they didn't want to call it, he'd have been remembered on a bright note instead of a quitter. Because that's what they're saying now. Because the team
Didn't look after him properly.
didn't know enough.
No.
They don't know enough.
No.
They don't know enough. If Angelo Dundee hadn't have been in Muhammad Ali's corner, the 94 Henry Cooper would have knocked Muhammad Ali out. But quick thinking and brains got Ali the win. They cut the glove, give him time to reset himself, call the referee over, made a big do of it. He went on to fight for the heavyweight championship of the world against Sonny Liston and won.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Henry Cooper would have stopped him because he was out on his feet. But in this case, they was found wanting.
Right.
The corner, everybody wrapped round him. Because I'd have said no, we've won. No more. No more. Put the hands in the air, left the ring, or we would have invaded it. You can imagine what would have happened.
Yeah, I can just see it. Your top would have been off.
Oh, that'd have been mayhem.
Tables flipping.
Oh, dear me. I'd have slapped the referee till his teeth rattled. Honestly. That'd have been mayhem completely. But listen, you've got to have it in you. You've got to have the oil in your can, haven't you?
Well, yeah, and look after you.
They haven't got
your
it.
Fighter.
They ain't got it. They think they have.
Yeah.
There's more to this game than the eye sees, my friend.
Yeah.
But that's just what I would have done. That's my opinion. No one else's. But I could have saved Daniel Labar a lot of embarrassment. Even if he never got the result, people would have remembered him in a lot brighter note. In a lot better position as well. A lot of people thought he won on the knockout.
Yeah.
Why put your man at risk when he'd done his job, really?
Yeah.
Whether it was a low blow, whether it wasn't. It would have been enough for me to invade that ring and call a halt to the full affair.
Yeah.
And what could they do about it?
Yeah. Nothing. You've got a proper lineage in your family of boxing, obviously, John Tyson. So the question is, did you find boxing or did boxing find you?
I think boxing found me. Boxing found me because as a little lad, I used to see my dad hitting the bag in the garage, and I used to hear the sound all the time, and I heard it for like a month straight before he ever wandered out and said, "What was it?" You know, I was like, "What's that sound?" And then one night, about 7:30, 8 o'clock, time doesn't really matter. I went through the back door, and I must have been very small, like 6, 7, whatever it may have been. And I see my dad hitting the boxing bag, and I just there was a little crack there, and I must have stood there for about 20 minutes with my coat on, just watching him hit the bag. I didn't know what boxing was at that time. I thought, what's this? And then every night I'd see him do the same thing, and every night I'd be there looking and watching. And then it went from watching to going on a run with him, you know, running down the street, jogging next to him as a little lad. Him not taking any notice, you know, not thinking about me being a boxer or anything, me just going on a run with him. And then it went from there to putting on his mitts and hitting the bag myself. You know, and once I went through all that process, you know, it's like a drug. You know, boxing is a heavy drug. Once you get that itch for boxing, you can't let it go. And that's just what happened. You know, I thoroughly love the sport because if you don't, but you can't do boxing. But I hear a lot of things saying like, you know, are you just doing boxing for the money? You're just doing it for that, you know, and you can't. Boxing, especially, is too hard of a sport to do if you don't love it. Because you can't show up to the gym day in and day out and get your head punched in, bloody noses, spending nights in A&E if you don't love it. You know, there's a lot of other ways to make money, a lot easier ways. So you got to actually love the game and adore it, and that's what I have done. You know, I've been that way now for years. You know, I'm lucky enough to make a career out of it, and that's it. Each day by day, I'm just looking to improve day by day. But the boxing, I think boxing found me.
What is it you love about boxing? Because some people are obviously going to be like, well, smashing people for a living, how much is that fun? What can you describe what it is you love about it?
It's a feeling that you can't get from any other sport. That from me speaking anyway, because I've tried sports. You know, I've tried, you know, athletics. You know, all the stuff in that, long distance running, sprint, shot put, javelin, all sort of stuff. Tried wrestling, tried rugby, tried MMA, tried all these things. But boxing, when you enter a boxing gym, a switch goes on, a light comes on, and when you're standing there, especially, you know, at the entrance walkway, when you're getting ready to walk down to your fight, you've got the whole crowd cheering for you. You feel like a Spartan, you feel like a warrior. You know, you've trained for weeks and months on end for this fight, and he's trained for weeks and months on end for you, and you're both meeting in front of a big crowd, live on television, nowhere to run, nowhere to hide, and you settle it man versus man. And that, to me, I can't get that thrill, I can't get that buzz from anything else that I do. So that's kind of, once you have that first fight, it's very, very hard to not continue that, because I'm pretty sure every boxer can agree with me here, like the thrill and the excitement you get walking to the ring and actually competing in the ring, man versus man, it's a feeling like no other. And you have literally got to partake in it to understand what I'm talking about. You know, to feel like an alpha male in the ring and everybody's tuned to see you have a fight. It's the best feeling that I can get, but I'm only speaking on me. I come from a fighting family, so it's very natural for me to think that way, but obviously people may think the sport's barbaric and stuff like that. You know, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, but for me, it's a great sport. It teaches kids discipline. It teaches them the right morals, gets you fit mentally and physically. I think that's why boxing's evolved so much over the years. You know, you don't just get your boxers that do boxing. You get your businessmen. You get your, I don't know, your stock market tradesmen going into the boxing gym, hitting the bag, hitting the pads, because it's a great stress reliever. And the world it is today, there's a lot of stress out there. And boxing, I think, is the best sport mentally to just shut yourself away from everything. You know, get a workout in, and when you come out, you just feel brand new. And I think that's the reason why everybody is so in love with boxing.
Now, I've been on a mission for 17 years to help as many people on this planet get better financial knowledge. If, like me, you'd like to make, manage and multiply more money, I recommend that you join my digital financial freedom platform. It's really easy to join. You just type in rob.team. There you're going to learn my 4 M's of making, managing, maintaining and multiplying more money. And the even better news is there's no risk to you, because it costs less than 20 pence a day to join. You can cancel anytime. Join right now. I'll also give you my 12-week Money Mastermind University completely for free. It's about 14 hours of what they should teach you at school and university about money, but the banking system and the governments control you and don't want you to know that. It exposes the banking system and teaches you how to play them at their own game. If you join rob.team right now, you get that completely for free. Just type in rob.team. I'll see you inside with the 10,000 other members in rob.team. I think Tommy's done brilliant. I think he's forged a great career for himself. He was on the show, got to know him, but of course, obviously he had Love Island. He's now raising a child. He's got Molly. Has he got the same hunger? Because he's gone a different route to Tyson.
The hunger with Tommy will always be there, because he's a fighter. And I'm his father, and I will keep him hungry, because he's got unfinished business. And I said, if you get used to silk pajamas and silk sheets and all the luxuries that where you're at in life can bring you, they'll bring you down in the end. It'll end there for you. So what you've got to do is take it and run with it, and still keep your hunger and still be humble, you know, and still know there's a lot more to achieve. There's a lot more work to do with Tommy in life yet.
What's his unfinished business?
His unfinished business is to do something and win some proper titles, what we set out to do in the beginning.
Yeah.
That's what I want him to do. I want him to make plenty of money, which he is doing. I want him to excite people. I want him to be right with people. I want people to enjoy him and what he's doing. And I want people, most of all, to get inspired of what Tommy's doing. Because 5 years ago, who was Tommy Fury? No one. Look where he is now.
Yeah.
Millions of Instagram followers. He's on every TV station. You know, in his own right, he's as big as Tyson. Really, on a different format. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The only thing that sets him apart from Tyson is Tyson's accolades and Tyson's achievements. You know, and I'd like to somehow or the other instill in Tommy that those achievements are achievable at 24 years old. Because okay, you can have the money, that's okay. There's other people got money. You can have the big house. There's all big houses around here. You know, there's people around here every bit as wealthy as Tommy and Tyson. But what they haven't got is lifetime achievements. They've probably got a good job and they're happy. They've done the same thing all their life. But why not achieve goals? You're not going to say, okay, at 24 years old, I've got this money, I've got that money, and stop it there. You know, I want him to set a fine example for his children. He's got a daughter now. You know, he's got a brilliant missus. You know, they work together. She's a good businesswoman. She gets on with it. they're achievers, these people, and that's what I like about them. Molly's an achiever. She wants more. She wants to inspire more people. She wants new ideas every day. And I want that for Tommy. I want the new ideas to keep coming through so he can inspire other people out there to follow in Tommy and Molly's footsteps. It can be done.
Yeah.
But if you say, okay, today, I'm happy with my lot, what's he going to do for the next 40 years? He's going to have a boring life, isn't he?
Yeah.
You know, so I say keep going. Keep doing your thing, inspire other people, enjoy your job, look for new ideas, but achieve something what goes down in history. I can tell you now about 20 millionaires, you won't even know any of their names. But when you talk about people like any great sports people, football, tennis, snooker, boxing, whatever, swimmers, let them achieve gold medals, championship belts, cups, you remember the name. You remember the great players like Pele and all that years and years ago. That Maradona, you know, George Best, they live on forever because they've achieved and they've gone down in history. Going down in history is what you need to do.
Right. And do you think these fights with people like Jake Paul and KSI, do you think they're distractions away from the achievement, or do you think that's his path and then he'll...
No, they're achievements in their own right. Jake Paul and Tommy was the biggest fight in the world at that time, whether they like it or not. It was the biggest fight in the world at the time. There was all superstars there. It did millions of around the world or something, didn't it? The pay-per-views was through the roof on it, you know, and everybody knows them. So they've took part in a crossover fight, what was the biggest crossover fight in the world, and there probably will never be another one as big.
Right.
You know, because Jake Paul and Tommy was every bit as big as Francis Ngannou and Mike Tyson.
Wow.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So that's an achievement.
Yes.
That's history. People will remember it.
Yeah, it's just a different path.
Different
it's
path.
a non-traditional path.
Non-traditional path, but the crossover boxing's taking over, by the way.
Yeah. Yeah, it is.
It's
And what are your
coming.
thoughts on that? Are they...
Well, you
Because
know,
you thought it was quite good for the sport last time we talked. Do you still think it's good for the sport?
I'm even more up for it.
Yeah.
Because it's giving more people chances to make something of themselves. You know, and the people can't make it in the square ring, they can make it in the octagon, can't they? You know, there's different paths to go down. And I just think it's opened channels up for people to try harder. They get inspired and think, oh, I can't box, I'll have a go at that.
Yeah.
You know, and now they're coming together and it's causing the crossovers. People want to watch it, don't they?
Yeah.
They want to see it, they find it interesting. And if that's the case, they've won, haven't they?
Yeah.
They've won. Because nobody wants to watch a ball fest on the telly where you know what one man's it's out the blue if the other blue corner wins. People sick of that. They know when these crossover fights here, they happen, they're as real as they're ever going to get.
Yeah.
Because both men are trying to prove a point. They're trying to make their sport better than your sport and vice versa. So there you've got a slugfest, haven't you? There's probably not the same finesse, not the same skill set, but they're trying as hard.
Yeah.
And that's what people's paying for, the effort.
Since I got to know Tommy a bit, I've thought a very grounded, humble guy. Yeah. But my respect for him when he won the Jake Paul fight went up tenfold, because I don't think people can really understand the pressure on him to lose that. I mean, even you said his career might be over. His own
Well, it
dad.
would have been. It would have been.
Yeah.
Because they were saying he's going to let the whole of boxing down. He was carrying that weight. The boxing world.
Which is
knows that.
unfair,
Unfair.
really. Yeah.
You know, people was having bits of games with him and saying, oh, you've got to change your name. We know it's only banter, but it can affect you at that level. You know, and that kid at 23 years old was carrying the weight of the world on his back. Because he knew when a loss to Jake Paul would have been disastrous.
Was he nervous?
Well, I had to train his mind for as long as I trained his body.
Right.
I said, look, at this level, welcome to the big time. It's one big mind F, let's say, without swearing.
Yeah.
But if you can control the mind F, you're a winner.
Yeah.
Because if you can't, there's the door. Just be a bill filler, be an average, ordinary person. If you want to be extraordinary, you've got to be able to beat this. And a lot of people can't, at 23-year-old. I said, forget everything in the world. Forget what people say, they're not doing it. Forget what people do, you're doing it. The ball's in your court. I can only take you so far, but it's up to you. If you want to be somebody and go down in history, you need to deal with these situations. Forget who's at ringside. Forget about any kind of promotions. Forget about letting people wind you up. Tunnel vision. We set a game plan, stick to it. And that's what he did. You know, he made it a little bit hard for himself, but pressure caused that.
Yeah.
You know, because if he hadn't been pressured, I'd have stopped Jake Paul. Because after what we was doing in the gym, he never took in that fight. Pressure again.
Yeah.
And not one person in the boxing fraternity or in his own country thought he was going to beat Jake Paul. And that's why.
Wow.
Yeah, not one. They all say.
I did. I had Tommy all the way.
You got all these hot shot presenters, all these pundits. Tommy can't win. Jake Paul, Jake Paul, Jake Paul. So either they was jealous, which I think they was. The green-eyed monster swayed the judgment.
Yeah.
That's why I've never bothered with them. I don't mention any of the names. I don't want to see them. I don't want to work with them. I don't want to do nothing with them. Because they showed me what day it is, where they are, you know. And like I said to you in our last interview, people like you to do well, but not as well as them.
Yeah.
And look what he's done. He's knocked all of them out with a cock hat, hasn't he?
Yeah.
You know, he's exceeded them. They've been in the job years, got battered to death and not got a quarter of the money Tommy has.
Yeah.
And they can't deal with that. People's good fortune. Wish them luck.
Yeah.
Wish them luck, and I tell you what, your life will improve as well. Stop being jealous. Be happy for them, because it's destiny. You know, look at all these rock stars. Look at all these movie stars. Look at all these kings and queens. It's destiny. So embrace them, wish them luck, and say, you know what? Fair play. You're the chosen one.
Yeah.
Tyson, destiny. Because the upbringing he had, where he was from, he was the most unlikely looking world champion you'd ever see.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to connect him with boxing. He never had the personality, he never had anything. But look where he is today. Because it's his destiny, and nobody can stop destiny.
This is one from my mum.
Okay.
So my dad has bipolar disorder. And my mum's lived with that for 20 years.
Yep.
And so, yeah, could you just sort of share any tips you've got supporting people with mental health issues? You know, how to sort of handle it for the best for them, but also keep your own sanity,
Stability.
if you like. Yeah.
I can't say I've got the right answers, because obviously everybody's different. But I think supporting that person would be, talk to them to get help, medical help. That's the first thing that you really need to try and get someone. If you get them in that chair and get that diagnosis, and I think that really helps the situation.
And that's happened with Tyson.
That's what happened with Tyson. Like all the years prior to that, there was ups and downs, and there was never really the answer why. I think once you had an answer why, it really helped. Then after that, for me, it's don't, when Tyson's in a low day and a quiet day, I don't try and pull him out of it. I don't try and push, I kind of let him ease his way and just sort of ignore the situation, but just continue with life as normal. That's what I find works. So just for instance, if we're at home, Tyson's having a quiet day, we had a plan to go to the park, then I would be like, I'm going to the park, I'm going to take the kids, and if you want to join me, you can do. If you don't, you don't. And I think, then stepping out and walking away, and if he follows, it sort of lifts it, where if I tried to push it, like, you are coming, you need to get up, you need to move, you need to do this. I didn't find that ever worked with Tyson. But everybody is different. And then also, just be there for them. Let them talk to you, let them talk it through. And if they don't want to talk, leave them alone. I've found that works as well.
And do you have any outlets yourself?
I don't know. I don't find I need any. I find I'm a pretty stable person. So I find for me just in the book I talk about me time, and my me time would be, going to the gym at one point. I'm not gymming now because I've just had the baby, but I joined it last year and I found that was a great thing for me. A bit of exercise, walking, gym, things like that. I love doing that. Then I found that a girls' night out was great. I think it is pure therapeutic. You can't relate, but it is good. It's very good to go out with fellow, other women who are in similar situations, mothers, working, whatever, and you can sort of vent, and it's just mindless gossip sometimes, and sometimes it really matters.
Yeah.
And I find that helps. And things like that, little things, is my sort of outlet, but I've never found that I need a big release from daily life.
No. Many people are starting to say that women are better at talking things out than men who hold things in. Have you found that to be true?
Yeah, I think so, because, I can go for a coffee with Tyson and all the guys in camp and not one of them will say 3 words. And you're sitting there thinking, like, well, we've come out for a chat. Is anyone going to have a chat? But, women can just, most women find it easy to conversate and keep talking and ramble on. And, even if it's mindless conversation, I find it helps and it's good for you. Where maybe in male worlds, it's not as much. But I don't know, sometimes you can get Tyson on a subject and he'll ramble on for 3 hours. So I don't know. I can only input what I've seen, and I think possibly it could be true. Females talk and communicate better.
And was it therapeutic for you to write the book? Did you feel getting the words out was good for you?
No, because, as I say, I feel like a normal, strong person any road. So not normal not being the word, but like I don't find that I need to get anything out or anything off my chest. I don't have that kind of build-up. No, for me, putting this out there was more for for my fans, for people who asked me, how do I do it? So people asking me the question, the easiest way for me to get it out there in the masses was to put it in a book.
Do you think the Furies are now as big as the Kardashians?
Probably not.
Really?
I don't know. In the UK, yes, but I don't know. I don't think of it that way. I don't know. If they are, all hell be let loose. But no, I'm not sure. Maybe they are. I mean, Tyson is probably one of the most famous people on the planet right now.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't think... I've never watched the Kardashians. Never ever watched it. So I don't know. I don't think we could relate. Seeing the little clips that I've seen, I don't think it would be in relation to our family life. I think it would be very vastly different.
Well, it's on now, so maybe you could binge it. Well,
What, 20 episodes?